Crash test dummies save lives.
Throughout the world of testing, there's always one guy that seems to take the hit, in the name of safety. He's a crash test dummy. At a laboratory in Holland, they test them to ensure their reactions are as human as possible.
Hi, my name is Nick Bass, and I'll be doing the timeline of a crash test dummy. In the 1930s, automobile fatalities started to skyrocket and automobile designers started taking notice. A man named Samuel Alderson in his research lab developed the first ever crash test dummy in 1949, but it was nowhere near capable of getting accurate data. In 1959, Mercedes-Benz held the first ever crash test where they ran a car into a stationary object. In 1966, Congress passed the Department of Transportation, where they created acts to help improve automobile safety. The Department of Transportation then formulated the Highway Safety Act of 1970, which created the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or the NHTSA, who gave standards out for the safety performance of motor vehicles and related equipment, such as in 1973 when they passed a standard making it so crash tests had to include passenger dummies in the car while the tests were being done. In 1968, General Motors created the Model 1 crash test dummy, but it was also nowhere near capable of creating accurate data. Then in 1973, GM created the most successful crash test dummy in the Model 3, which would then become the standard for crash testing in 1997. Starting in 1981, over 19,000 animals were used and killed during crash tests, including mice, pigs, and dogs. Organizations such as PETA raised much controversy over how they were going about them. In 1990, NHTSA passed another regulation making it so that crash tests had to be performed from the side and back impact. They furthered this in 1995 when they made it so injuries from interior car components such as airbags and seat belts are also tested during crash tests. In 1997, as I said before, the Model 3 becomes a standard for crash testing, and in 2006, they started creating female and children replicated dummies to get more accurate testing. Since the creation of crash test dummy, motor vehicle companies have upgraded safety components on their cars, such as automatic braking and blind spot warnings, to help decrease the number of accidents and injuries to the result of automobile accidents. And it was all made possible through the advancements in crash test dummies.
Hi, my name is Kevin Bach, and I'll be addressing the antecedents and the background to the crash test dummies. The crash test dummies first got their shape by being modeled after mannequins. Mannequins were already modeled after humans, so therefore there was already a good foundation for the dummies to be modeled after. What scientists used before the dummies consisted of animals, which were chimpanzees and hogs. They also used human volunteers and dead human bodies. The tests with the volunteers and the cadavers were tested at very low speeds to ensure that the volunteers would not become injured. Background. As early as the 1950s, researchers began to study the injury biomechanics of people in car collisions. The initial tests with cadavers and volunteers gained valuable data for the researchers, but had to be abandoned due to moral and ethical restrictions. The main purpose for the crash test dummy is to determine injury severity to the human body in an accident. In order to improve the car's ability to protect the occupants while in a car collision, it is necessary to have an understanding of the biomechanical response of the body during the collision. The Hybrid 2 was created in 1977, which would lead to the innovation of the Hybrid 3 in 1997. In 1997, the Hybrid 3 officially became the industry standard for testing airbag safety and frontal impact regulations.
The body of a Hybrid 3 crash test dummy consisted of metal parts like bronze, steel, or aluminum, as well as some metal plating materials. They also include many plastics in the exterior of the body. The manufacturers do not initially put sensors in the body, but instead the customer of the dummy has to put them in. They do this because each test has a specific purpose upon testing. Like if GM wanted to test on the impact of a seatbelt restraints, they would be able to place sensors in the shoulders, pelvis, and wherever else to get accurate testing.
The calibration test consists of head drops, thorax impacts, knee impacts, and also rear impacts. Here at the Institute, we have 3 types of dummies: frontal impact dummies, side impact dummies, and also rear impact dummies. We also have different sizes, ranging from a 6-month-old infant to a 95th percentile male. The 95th percentile male crash test dummy is larger than 95% of the population. I wouldn't have a back if I tried to pick him up. Our workhorse here at the VRC is the Hybrid 3 50 percentile male crash test dummy. He's 5'10" and his weight is 172 pounds. He is used in our frontal test programs. The test dummy that we use for rear impact testing is called BioRid. He has articulating vertebrae. He reacts very much like a human, and he's definitely more biofidelic for rear impact testing than the standard frontal impact dummy.
Hi, I'm Haley, and today I will be talking about the impact of crash test dummies. In the United States alone, there are over 30,000 people that die every year because of car crashes. The World Road Safety Global Status Report in 2015, through the World Health Organization, reported that around 1.25 million people die every year because of car-related accidents, which means that every 25 seconds, one person is killed. What if there were a way to decrease that number? Crash test dummies within the car industry are vital to that. They make it easier to see exactly how humans will react in a similar accident on the road. They are a key piece of equipment in all vehicle safety inspections. Crash test dummies can help predict human injuries such as skeletal fractures, internal organ injuries, and stress distribution in brain tissue. The National Highway Safety Bureau insisted that a dummy named Alderson's VIP 50 must be used when testing restraint systems. It is required that they hit a rigid wall at least 30 miles an hour. The National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act of 1966 was passed by Congress to regulate the design and manufacture of all crash test dummies. This act sparks the debate between some manufacturers about how to establish the credibility of devices such as the crash test dummies. Crash test dummies are also vital in exploring the injury biomechanics of the occupants and improving safety performance vehicles. To help see the severity of injuries, they have added skin to the back of the necks in an effort to keep the airbags from interfering with the vertebrae during a neck test on all crash test dummies. According to the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration, each year all new vehicles must be tested under a STAR rating system. Crash test dummies have served the automobile industry well and have given passengers a large idea of how accidents can injure them. Throughout the future, there may be challenges that come, and right now there are issues with how to create a structure that interacts with the computer. It has to allow models to be developed and interact with the software systems as a whole. It can truly only respond to a paramedic impact result and not the true visual injury that humans would have. Continuing to fund and learn from those dummies and create new models that give us better understanding are crucial to continuing to make an impact with crash test dummies.
Thank you for watching our documentary on the crash test dummy.
Visit our website for more information on crash test dummies.